Welcome to another episode of Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler, Season 3. And Linda Lester, we love you. Thank you for supporting us. And Jayco's Art House, we love the art behind us so much. And today I have a great guest. I don't know where this is going to end up, so we'll kind of go through it together. You may or may not know him. His name is Gary Kremen, and there you are, Gary. But everybody should know you because you are the Santa Clara Valley Water District board member for District 7, which includes Los Gatos and Montecito.
I'm trying to give Los Gatos and Montecito safe, clean, affordable water. It's a tough job.
Could we have more water?
We could have more water.
Could we have more water and cheaper water?
Maybe take your lawn out.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That's not going to
that
happen.
attractive,
And that's
is
not
it?
going to happen. So,
one of those type.
you know, why do you even want to be on the Santa Clara Valley Water District Board? I mean, it's not a paid gig, right?
We get a little stipend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I saw you go to a lot of meetings, so that stipend ends up.
It does.
Adds up.
I'm also a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
You can never make anyone happy.
Well, isn't that the truth? No
That's
matter
right.
what you do.
Whether it's the anti-fluoridation people to the anti-tunnel people, you rarely get someone coming in and go, "What a good job you do."
So I'm going to ask you a question that I know everybody's always wondering. What the heck do you guys do? And gals, because I know Linda Lazat still on the board?
She is. She's our chairperson.
Okay, so guys and gals,
what
do you do?
You mentioned gals. Can I just give an aside?
Yeah.
We're the only large water district in the state that has almost entire management team are women. Our CEO, our head of water supply, our head of water sheds.
Love it.
Everyone but our head of administration. So.
Well, we'll have to get rid of him.
We're also diversity, African American man. Our CEO is, everyone's diverse there.
Wonderful.
So we're how Santa Clara County is.
But what do you guys do?
Well, we bring water to Los Gatos and the 2 million people in Santa Clara County. We're responsible for flood control, and we're responsible for creeks. In fact, we're just working on Los Gatos Creek as we speak.
You mean that stuff just doesn't happen by itself?
It just doesn't happen by ourselves.
All right.
We're nearly 1,000 employees when it's all said and done, and we give you clean water.
Well, and you're on your second term, so you really love it.
I'm, again, masochistic issue.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, let's get into some of that
Okay.
masochistic issue
Yes.
stuff. Okay,
Yes.
let's go back to 1993. Does everybody know what you did in 1993?
I don't know about that. Can't we start as me as a small baby? I guess we'll have 15 minutes.
Well, so, when I looked you up on Wikipedia, a very nice biography about you. It says you are
The best money could buy.
an engineer.
It's true.
And I think you've been an engineer for decades.
I have.
You went to Stanford, I know that.
At business school. I was an electrical engineer before that, degree in computer science.
So it says engineer, it says entrepreneur, and it says public servant.
Yes.
Which do you like best?
God, isn't that a good mix? I kind of like them all. I want to
Yeah?
add them all together.
Okay.
My problem is ADD. I can't focus on one thing.
Oh no, now we're really in trouble. Now you
Exactly.
tell me.
Or my diagnosis. We'll talk all about it
So
today.
we're going to pass the baby years. We're going to 1993. And what did you do in 1993?
So before 1993, just a little bit
Yeah.
before, I had a little software company with a partner who actually lived in Los Gatos. And I remember coming up here. We've been in business together since 1989. When we're coming up here during Loma Prieta
Yes.
to try to salvage his house.
Oh.
In any case, so I had a little business, and I was doing a lot of dating in 1993.
Yeah.
In the back of the newspapers when there used to be personal ads.
Yeah.
I used to date a lot of people in Los Gatos, in fact.
Really?
I did.
What was it about these women in Los Gatos?
They'd like to go to the Cats restaurant. They wanted free Cats restaurant.
Yes.
I don't know. It was-
Oh, so, okay. I did not realize you had this history with Los Gatos.
Oh, my God, yes.
So you're dating a lot.
Especially in Los Gatos. Putting ads in the Metro newspaper that covers Los Gatos.
Love it.
And was running this little software company. And I'll tell the origin story, which
Sure.
is one day we got a purchase order. And anyone who ran a small business, a purchase order means someone's buying something. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And it was from a woman. Like maybe it was an admin at HP. And it was for like $700. And when you're a poor, just out of grad student with no money, that's a good day. That means we're like going to go to Chez Panisse or something
I
like
see
that.
where this is heading.
Yes. And my partner goes, Gary, I'll get this order shipped out. We're going to have like $700. That should hold us over for another week or so. I go, that is good. But do you think that she's cute? And he's like, who are you talking about? I go, the person who sent us the purchase order, Ben. And he goes, I don't know. I go, well, what if she, instead of sent a purchase order, sent a picture? And
Whoa.
attachments to email just were invented the last year.
You were way ahead of your time.
And he's like, looked at me like I had 7 eyes. I go, I don't know what you're talking about. Why would someone do that? And I go, well, what if we could, instead of they fill out our order form, they filled out the order form for their mate? And that was kind of one of my epiphanies. I was doing a lot of these personals. Had no money because you'd have to call a 900 number if you remember back in the day.
Yes.
So, sometimes you put 2 and 2 together.
And you ended up with
Match.com.
and Match.com.
That's how I came up with the idea.
You founded Match.com.
I did.
In essence, you founded online dating. You did found it.
A little bit, yeah.
Or did I find it? Anyway, you started
I was trying to solve a personal problem.
And how did that work for you?
Not as good.
But it worked for others.
Over 1 million babies to date, kind of
How
like the
about
McDonald's thing, yeah.
Unbelievable. So you started it, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and you came, a perfect name, right? Match.com. How'd you think of the name?
Well, so, in fact, not only did, clearly matchmaking, but it was actually a bigger vision that I said, we shouldn't just be doing matchmaking online. We should be buying cars online and autos, housing. So I registered all these domain names. In fact, Match.com's, the official name of it was Electric Classifieds, because I wanted to do classifieds online. All the stuff you see where the personal ads were in the back of the papers. That was my passion.
I like Match.com much better.
It was, well,
Yeah.
you never know when you have to get a housing.
Well, I need to tell you. So
Tell me more.
I need to tell you. So 5 years after my husband passed away, my 2 daughters said they were sort of tired of being with me every Friday and Saturday night. They're boyfriends now, husbands love me, but Mom, you got to start dating. And I said, no, I was fine. I had the one great marriage, good.
That's it.
I'm good. Well, so my youngest daughter put me on Match.com. I did not realize that she was winking at people without my knowledge.
You're not the only person that's happened
I did
to.
not realize. And finally, I don't remember what happened. And I said, okay, we're changing the password because she had too much control. But, in fact, I think she winked at, I met a gentleman, and that was 7 years ago. And we are still together, and we'll be together forever. So you didn't create a baby with me, but...
But when you and
got me
Jeff have a
somebody.
fight, you can kind of bring it back to me.
And we have many times.
Well, actually, one time, this is about, 12 years ago, I was on the street and some guy walks up to me and punches me in the face. Like really hard.
Well, yeah, because you got so famous. Everybody knew what you looked
It wasn't
like.
that. It was like he met someone at a match and she wouldn't call him back. And it was, because he's probably a crazy stalker who punches people in the street, because he was unhappy.
And then you sold it, right? You don't own it anymore.
No, I've moved on to other things.
Do I dare ask what else you've moved on to?
We could talk about it. So I registered a lot of these domain names early on, jobs.com, autos.com, housing, and sex.com.
And can I ask, what was that? I never knew what that was.
Well, it was nothing because I wasn't using it because I was busy doing other things. And to be honest, I didn't realize what a big business it was at the time.
All right.
Yeah.
And there were some legal problems with all that?
5-time convicted felons stole it from me and went from prison in 1 year to a house in Atherton equivalent. And the next year is
Ooh.
making $1 million a
Well,
month.
and we got to go back for a second because I never asked you, did you find the love of your life on Match.com?
I did not.
Okay, so it worked for everybody but you.
It did.
How sad is that?
The woman I was dating at the time actually found someone at the time on Match.com. There's always a downside, isn't there?
Really? So you're dating somebody and she's still on Match?
Yeah, but I was going to get rid of her anyhow.
So tell us some more good stories because this is community storytelling.
Oh, no.
We have any other stories to share?
Just get a bunch of good wedding invitations from time
Yeah.
to time or baby pictures, which is
I wasn't
cool.
totally sold on everything about Match.com.
Why is that? Why didn't it work out?
Well, it did obviously
Yeah,
for me, but
yeah.
luckily I met Jeff pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But men are mean. I'm sure women are too, but
Mm-hmm.
I was on the other side, and we're not a match, because you would match would
Yeah.
match with people, and I remember one guy saying, "Are you kidding me? We're not a match. Are you nuts?" And I said, "Well, Match said we were," and then
Oh, no.
Went crying and yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Oh, that was brutal.
It was brutal.
Well, you
know?
can't solve
Everything.
human nature.
Yes.
I try. I focus on the Maslow hierarchy of needs, love, sex, water,
Yeah, I guess-
things way up there.
And it's like, how did
You're still angry at that guy, aren't you?
It hurt my feelings. I don't know, but it
Yeah.
all worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
But how did you decide, like, all the questions that you ask on Match? Because Match started and then who came next? eHarmony?
Yeah. So I actually started with this huge, real detailed survey, like 120 questions. And I had this epiphany that, men aren't the customer, women are the customer. Because
Yeah.
back in the, mid-90s, there was probably 20 men for every one woman online.
And was that something about high tech and like the engineers who couldn't really socially get out?
It was the people who had access to the web or even email. So women didn't start getting access to email until their works hooked up, their Lotus Note system, if you remember that.
Oh, my goodness.
Hooked up in the back. But it was they were few and far between. I realized, look, if I could get women on, for every woman would bring 100 guys. So I wrote this questionnaire, and I sat down with 50 women and asked them, and they were pretty horrified by some of the questions. This guy recently wrote a book on Match and other things, and he printed some of the questions in there. And now, in retrospect, I look at them, and they were horrifying, the first questions I asked.
Well, and you don't know if anybody's telling the truth. I remember everybody I saw or contacted me went to the beach every day, worked out every day, had an expensive car, and just wanted to sit in front of a raging fire.
I don't know about that, but let me tell you, no woman wants to be asked about her weight.
Was that one of the questions?
That in the first 100 or so questions. So I narrowed it down to 10 questions.
Yes.
After hearing no one liked anything.
So you were smarter than you knew. You caught on a late bloomer.
Well, it is good to ask potential customers what they think. Any entrepreneur will say that, understand your customer.
We're not done with Gary. We are not done with Gary Kremen at all, because there's another interesting chapter in his life that we're going to get to after we pause, and we're going to go take a quick visit to Leicester Square. Thanks for being with us. It's Community Storytelling with Lissa Kreisler and Gary Kremen. Hi, it's Lissa Kreisler. I'm at Leicester Square right here at the corner of Blossom Hill Road and Los Gatos Boulevard. A lot of fun things to do. Ken!
Lisa,
I didn't
so
even
nice to see you.
finish my sentence. I'm so surprised to see you. What are you doing here?
Well, we live close by, and we're taking Rocky to the vet today.
So do you have time for a cup of coffee at Phil's with me afterwards?
Sure. Is it your treat or mine?
It's definitely your treat.
And Rocky's coming too.
Good with me. I am so glad to run into you at Leicester Square. It's one of my favorite places.
It's one of my favorite places too, and we've been to Varenza and Super Duper and Phil's, and we love going here.
And so where I live, I have no flowers, so I come here to Leicester Square to enjoy all the flowers. They're gorgeous. So the motto here that Linda Lester coined is meet me at the square, or meet us at the square, or meet your besties at the square. I meet everybody at the square. It's Leicester Square in Los Gatos.
Come on by, and cheers.
Yes. So we're back at Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler. We have Gary Kremen, who is actually your representative in the Santa Clara Valley Water District Board. But then we got to talk about Match.com, and there's a book out, and I think it's kind of about you.
It's strange, a person who New York Times best-selling author, wrote a big book on the game Doom, wrote a book on his brother that was unfortunately killed by a serial killer.
Oh, my.
I know, very interesting guy, writes for Rolling Stone and Wired. And
then he found you.
He calls me up one day. I didn't know him from Adam. He goes, I read something about your story, and I think there's a book in there. And I'm like, you are incorrect. There is no book. And he goes, no, I think it's interesting about the early days of the internet. What was it like in the 80s to be on the internet? Everyone thinks it's Facebook was the first thing, or the web. I want to tell the story. And I'm like, you're going to spend a year of your life, given you've worked on all these other interesting things, to write about a story 6 people will read? That's ridiculous. But if you want to do it, I'll sit for you.
And this book is called what?
The Player's Ball.
The
Available
Player's
at
Ball.
Yeah.
What does that title mean?
Well, the Players Ball was an event in Chicago where people in the adult industry would get together at
Oh.
one. I shouldn't even say adult industry. It was worse than that. It was more the sex workers industry.
And you
the
were
time.
at this
No, not
event?
at all. I wasn't even alive back
Oh,
then.
yeah, okay.
But then the adult industry took up that name, and there's like a kind of an interesting technology, adult industry, and water all put together in one.
So what did he say about you that we need to know? And who is this writer?
His name's David Kushner.
Oh,
No, he's not related
Oh.
to them.
Oh.
No, but people know him. Who,
okay.
You know,
Is he in that family?
he is not.
Okay.
He is not.
Okay, so Jared
He's
doesn't
against
know
the
him.
family.
Okay, he's against the family. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
So what did he say about you? What have we missed?
He just talks about the battle with the bad guy and all the gunfight that took place in Tijuana.
With you?
Yeah, you got to go read the book.
You're not going to. I don't know. That sounds like a good story.
nah,
But you survived.
Yeah, and the lows a big battle might have. You kind of get a little depressed. So how did I? I went off the rails a little bit.
Have you read the book?
I read an early draft of it. I got to read what he finally put down.
And so, what would your review be? Totally incorrect. It's
Kind of
fun?
like the headline in the Palo Alto Daily Post: "Water District's Director's Racy Past." I like that.
Okay.
It's an amusing read, maybe.
Yeah?
I don't know. There's a good write-up on Match in there and how it started and how it grew. Interesting stuff.
Now, you didn't grow up in Silicon Valley
I grew up in Chicago, but I've been out here since 1987.
because of Stanford.
Yes, so I've been here for a long time.
All right, so this is your home now.
Yeah, and I'd think, like, if I've been here since 31 years, I'm probably in the majority, or I've been here longer than the average person. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. So, Los Gatos, you still spend a lot of time here in Montecito?
I do.
Yeah?
There's not a lot. There's only one commercial establishment in Montecito, isn't there?
I don't know.
I think they don't allow anything other than the church.
Oh.
You didn't know that, did you?
I think we did have some, I think I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Remember hearing that. But now they're building more housing and
That's right.
townhouses.
They are. I bet that's kind of
That's a whole nother
political-
show.
Land use issues in Montecito is one issue I'm not going to touch today.
And do you-
Nor will I talk about the North 40 if you want me to talk about that.
Oh, we're
The
not
answer
gonna-
is
well-
don't even go there.
Okay.
I don't have a position.
You don't have a position?
I
You do
don't.
have a
I don't know enough
position.
about it.
Yeah, well, they need water.
I don't know enough about it.
All right, I get it. So you drink the water here. The water's good.
The water is great in Los Gatos, and it flows.
Yeah.
Lexington Reservoir. I don't know if you've been out there. That's in
Yes.
Los Gatos.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've lived in this valley all my life.
Okay,
So
okay.
I've been around. Where do you like to stop by and have a dinner in Los Gatos?
It is not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing?
I'll tell you why. Because I think it has a good. I'm going to say what's unique about Los Gatos, from my opinion, is it has a good. It's probably the funkiest vibe you can get until you get out to Oakland.
Really? I've never heard anybody say that.
Different than Oakland because people are a little bit. Have you been to any of the bars in Los Gatos?
Well, I haven't been to the Black Watch, and I've been told
Okay.
I got to go there
Okay, I think I've been there.
and have
actually.
a kamikaze.
It has a little bit of a throwback vibe.
Yeah.
Not in a bad throwback way, kind of like if you've ever been up on Skyline to Alice's. It's not as it's not like Palo Alto and the Go-Go
Okay.
in Palo Alto.
Okay.
It's a good vibe, and funky is a good thing,
And
not a bad thing.
you still think women in Los Gatos are extraordinary?
I do.
Because I agree.
When I was more single, I would call it a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a little bit older. It's a great target.
So were there a lot of Los Gatos people on Match?
There were.
There were.
Because it was one of the areas we focused on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to end with one last juicy story. Tell me something. Tell me
What do you want to talk
something.
about? The water district or policies?
Well, is there something juicy in the water district? I don't think so. I don't know.
New
What's
conservation rebates. How about that?
next? I'm all about that
People
too.
who won't take out their lawn, we're going to imprison them.
Why is my water bill so expensive?
You have a big lawn.
I don't. I live in a townhouse. I have
You
no
do?
lawn. I have no grass.
Well, maybe you want to get involved in my new company.
Which,
I'm combining water conservation with dating.
what? Are you serious?
It's called, yes.
I don't know if you're serious or not.
It's kind of like a little bit like Tinder, but you find the closest person to take a shower with.
Now, are you playing me or are you serious?
I'm playing with you. I'm trying to add some humor. You wanted something juicy and funny. It's called lather.
Oh, so you've used this one before, if you already have a title for it. What is next for you?
I don't know. You know, I'm happy with public service right now. You know,
All right.
Yeah,
You gonna run
2
for
kids.
office?
Well, you mean another office?
Yeah,
Stay
another
tuned.
office, a big
maybe,
office.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, stay
Maybe
tuned.
I'll announce it on the show. What do you think?
I would get first dibs on that?
She who controls Los Gatos controls the world. Don't you think so?
I do
At
think
least
so.
controls Santa Clara County.
I do think that. So real quickly, you mentioned 2 kids. How old are your kids?
Well, one tomorrow turns 9 and the other is 7.
Oh.
And they're 2 boys. They're
Oh.
very cute, troublesome. In fact, they call themselves the Rascals.
The Rascals, I like that. The
Yeah.
Little Rascals. Heard of that one before.
Yeah, they have their own cut on rascality.
And will you ever tell them to go on Match.com?
They're starting to get into tomorrow. This is bad, but my 9-year-old's presents a phone. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Spent the last kind of night locking it down
All
and
right.
everything like that.
Because you know, you're too smart.
I know.
Do they know how smart you are?
They're pretty smart. So I got to get YouTube done tonight, and I got to get
gosh.
Safari locked down tonight.
Well, Gary Kremen, you're a delight. This has been so much fun.
The
and
same,
again,
Lissa.
thank you for coming up with Match.com. It changed my life. So thank you.
I'm
Thank
honored
you.
to have done.
So how about that for community storytelling? You got something to share? I know you do. KCAT.org is how you nominate that certain person, and we hope to hear from you. And thanks so much for being with us with another episode of Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler.